Go figure, look what's trending in Canada today. Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Bitcoin has been on the rally of the year. That's right, it's halfway through 2020 and we are seeing some meaningful gains for Bitcoin. This is the chart on the 1 hour, guys, and you can see overnight, or even just a few hours ago, Bitcoin hit 10,200 approximately, almost piercing this high that we saw here at about 10,400 from back in early June 2020. So it is testing this resistance level. Not quite there yet, but it is looking like it could go higher. Looks like it is retracing a little bit now. Let's put it on the 45-minute just to kind of get a sense. Actually, no, let's go 5-minute. Why the heck not? Bitcoin reached 10,200, then came down, is vacillating in this level here, and wants to work its way back up. The crypto market is looking healthy. The market cap is at 300.2 billion, so now it is over 300 billion, guys. Bitcoin trading at 99.51, Ethereum trading at 308, and XRP trading at 0.216. Bitcoin up 3.87% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum up 8.9% in the last 24 hours, and XRP up 4.37% in the last 24 hours. So guys, is this the beginning of the bull run? Or at least, is the momentum going to continue? This is the question we have to ask ourselves. Well, I always like to look at Bitcoin, and I always like to see if Bitcoin pierces this level, then I think definitely the momentum will continue. If Bitcoin gets rejected by this level once again, that makes this level of resistance even stronger. And if it comes right back down, then there is reason to believe it could go lower. That's not unlikely either. I am still particularly, despite the fact that I'm excited that this is happening right now, I am still waiting for Bitcoin to come back into this zone here, the 7,200 level, and I think it still could happen realistically. This level ultimately needs to be pierced for me to get very excited, and it still hasn't been pierced. It is almost there, but not quite yet. And guys, why Bitcoin suddenly spiked to 10,200, instantly liquidating $75 million. This article from just an hour ago. So I want to go over this with you guys if you are questioning this, if you are wondering if the Bitcoin rally will continue. So the price of Bitcoin rose to a high of 10,272 on July 26. Today, in an unexpected weekend rally, it liquidated $74 million worth of long contracts on BitMEX alone, catching many traders off guard. There appear to be two main reasons behind the abrupt upsurge of Bitcoin from 9,700 to over 10,002. They are the liquidation of over-leveraged shorts, and traders are taking profits from overextended alternative cryptocurrencies, altcoins. So when the price started to rally, major altcoins as well-performing DeFi tokens began to slump. Ethereum declined from 322 to 311, and DeFi tokens including AVE and YFI saw steep rejections, the simultaneous rejections of major altcoins, and the price surge of Bitcoin suggests that traders took profit from recent altcoin rallies. As traders moved their altcoin gains to Bitcoin, it possibly triggered a Bitcoin uptrend while altcoins declined. Well, now we're actually seeing altcoins rally as well as Bitcoin. So if you put XRP here on the daily, you can see we are starting to see a rally for XRP as well. XRP went up as high as about 22.5 cents. And this is similar to many alts. This is Ethereum above 300, as I had mentioned before. So, maybe for the beginning of this rally, but now it seems as though it is perpetuating itself. And, when we see, the term Bitcoin trending on Twitter is always one of those indications that we could keep seeing some more Bitcoin movement. So let me continue with this. Investors express optimism over BTC's near-term price trend. So as the price of Bitcoin recovered strongly in recent weeks, some industry executives and investors expressed optimism towards BTC and ETH. Are you ready, says Barry Silbert from Grayscale. He tweeted that when Ethereum price broke out of the dreaded 280 resistance level on July 25th. Also, Peter Brandt expressing his views. He's highly bullish on Bitcoin, saying we could eventually make our way to 50,000. That is actually where my head is. Massive symmetrical triangle, and Bitcoin points to all-time highs, then to 50,000 per BTC. But some variables could affect the short-term price trend of BTC price. First, the funding rate of Bitcoin is projected to be over 0.04% on BitMEX. That is nearly 4 times higher than the average funding rate of 0.01%. It signifies that the majority of the market is taking long positions. For Ethereum's token, the funding rate is hovering at over 0.1%, which suggests the rally is beginning to get overheated. So that's what they're suggesting with regards to Bitcoin and Ethereum respectively. In February, Ethereum's price rejected at $280 as its funding rate surpassed 0.2%, and when the overwhelming majority of the market was longing the asset. Second, and we also have to remember this, guys, because this is very, very important. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it does have to do with human behavior, and in a lot of ways that does make sense. Second, $10,000 has acted as a key psychological level for Bitcoin since October 2019. If Bitcoin rejects at 10,200, it would still be lower than the previous peak in February 2020 at 10,473. So let's remember that, okay? As I had mentioned before, this was the previous peak, this was the previous peak over here in February when Bitcoin saw 10,004. We still need to breach this mark. So this is the level, and we've touched it here at the beginning of June. Now can we touch it and pierce it? That is ultimately what we need to see. And until we see that, we're still in the same boat. Although it would be far-fetched to call it a lower high formation, it might show that BTC price has not cleanly broken out of the multi-month range, which I've been saying for days now. We need to break out of this multi-month range. Okay, Bitcoin is highly volatile, and the low here, 8,100, the high here, about 10,004. We need to breach 10,004. If we're going to move to the upside, it has to break 10,400. And then Bob's your uncle. Who knows how high it can go from there? I'm hoping 14,000 will be the next stop after Bitcoin breaches 10,004. There are some other resistance levels here. Who knows if it'll break 10,009, 12,002, and then 13,002. Ultimately, though, 13,800 or 13,900, give or take, is that key level because that is the highest level we've seen in a while, that from back last summer. Gonna keep moving along. XRP Crypto Wolf posted this, and this is a quote from Congressman Darren Soto. It was taken from CoinDesk. We support further integration of cryptocurrency into the financial system, including allowing the major financial institutions to hold this currency. It'll lead to further legitimization of crypto. And up here, XRP Crypto Wolf extends the quote, "It's been a long time coming. This should have happened months or years ago." Cryptocurrency regulation, guys, we're starting to see a snowball effect, I think. I feel like a lot is happening all at once, and we're getting all this news, all this positive reaction to cryptocurrency. And so, this is creating a positive reaction in the market, possibly. This is creating good fundamentals in order for institutional money to be able to come into the space safely, at least for them to feel safe about putting their money into cryptocurrency. So a lot of this is happening right now, and it all just feels like a flurry of activity. I mean, that's how it feels to me. I don't know what you guys think. Put it in the comments if you agree, or if you disagree for that matter. I'm curious to know what you think about this. Another one from XRP Crypto Wolf, and this has to do with global liquidity and how it hit a new all-time high at $88.1 trillion. Guys, this from you today. And could this catalyze a Bitcoin uptrend? Will it continue the momentum for the Bitcoin movement we have already been seeing? This week, global liquidity achieved a new all-time high at $88.1 trillion. Historically, it has been the main driver of the U.S. stock market. Based on the recent correlation between stocks and Bitcoin, it might possibly affect Bitcoin. Holger, I can't pronounce that, a market analyst at Welt wrote, "Global liquidity, main driver of stock market rally, has hit a fresh all-time high this week at $88.1 trillion due to central bank money printing and the pronounced dollar weakness. In the past 3 months, Bitcoin has seen a relatively high-level correlation with the stock market. Data from Skew shows Bitcoin and the S&P 500 saw a close correlation since late March." And this is the Bitcoin and S&P 500 correlation from before late March, and then mid-March hit. that correction, and now look at Bitcoin and the S&P 500, kind of working in tandem, or at least appearing to be in sync somewhat. Let's continue down here. How the liquidity-led stock market could affect Bitcoin in the near term. The U.S. stock market has continuously surged in recent months despite fears of economic slowdown and an expanding pandemic. Economists say that the two factors are seemingly catalyzing a stock market rally, liquidity and stimulus. David Rosenberg, a chief economist at Rosenberg Research, told Foreign Policy, "This is the mother of all liquidity-induced equity market rallies. Nothing in financial history compares. This is not about vaccine hopes, not about the economy reopening, and certainly not about the deep economic contraction coming to an end. Alternative assets like Bitcoin could benefit from higher liquidity in the global market. The chances of a simultaneous rally increase if the U.S. stock market also starts to respond to newfound liquidity." And so they talk about the stock to flow ratio down here. And Plan B has given us some formulas here, ultimately stating that if this continues, we could see a Bitcoin at 288,000 and the S&P 500 at 4,300. I don't see that as being a likely outcome. I mean, this is all like, the QE pumps. He talks about QE pumps, stocks, and BTC scarcity. Well, there's the BTC scarcity, but the money being pumped into the market right now, I don't think it's sustainable, and I think that we are going to see a major pullback once the world realizes that, this just can't, we can't put this Band-Aid solution on this problem. Ultimately, in my opinion, the market has to rebound on its own. People have to go back to work. Businesses need to reopen at full capacity. And we are just not there yet. So despite all this, an increase in liquidity in the global market leads to a relaxed financial condition and the growing appetite for risk-on assets. When risk-on assets rally, it raises the probability of the uptrend of alternative assets, including Bitcoin. So that is an interesting outcome to that. Ultimately, we just have to keep our heads in check. Bitcoin is rallying. It could be for various different reasons. Even just as a normal Bitcoin cycle, Bitcoin should be rallying at this moment in time. The halving just happened in May, and it's time for Bitcoin to rally now. So despite all these reasons, Bitcoin should be rallying, and because of these reasons, it gives Bitcoin more reason to rally. So this is all positive for cryptocurrency if we want to see the market rise, and the numbers do speak volumes. Again, the cryptocurrency market cap over $300 billion for the first time in a while. We got more news here, guys. This in VeChain news. New version of VeChain Thor released with major improvement and fixed bugs. This from a couple of days ago now, as a recent report has it. The new version of VeChain Thor has been released, and it comes with a major fixed bug and improvement. This new development was shared via the official Twitter handle of VeChain Dev a couple of hours ago. According to the report, the peer-to-peer network has been improved in the newly released version. And so, guys, here is the tweet to that effect. Also, Colorline may be powered by VeChain and DNVGL's MyCare. So Colorline, one of the largest shipping companies in Europe, has announced the receipt of verification for infection prevention processes and measures from the DNVGL under MyCare methodology. I believe we reported on that a few days ago. But anyway, for those of you guys who did not catch that, more news from the VeChain camp. We have seen VeChain rally, but you know what I actually find interesting here? When I go back to XRP or BTC or what have you, we are seeing these rallies for these coins, and yet VET, not so much. We saw some movement up here, but ultimately VET is not finding any more buyers than it had from back in this rally over the last couple of weeks. VET buyers are nowhere to be seen. We had found this level of resistance up here just over 2 cents, and now slowly creeping downward, even though the rest of the market is rallying. So be interesting to keep an eye on VET as we're seeing the Bitcoin surge, as we're seeing XRP surge. All coins rally different, guys, and so this is no surprise to me. Of course, there are only a finite amount of buyers and sellers in the space, and the market price will dictate just that. I got Michael here at Val5Links on Twitter. After months of waiting, planning, and testing, Binance has begun delivering its debit cards to customers. So here we go. Debit cards from Binance. Months after waiting, planning, and testing, Binance has begun delivering its debit cards to customers. This started shipping in limited quantities as of yesterday, said Changpeng Zhao. Previous reporting shows an August launch for the card in European regions, so it can be inferred CZ means shipping to European customers at this time. Cointelegraph reached out to Binance for additional details, but received no response as of press time. This article will be updated accordingly should a response come in. And so they unveiled their debit cards in April 2020. The Binance card, the company proceeded to acquire crypto debit card business Swipe, according to a July report. CZ tested out the payment option in July, revealed in a July 10th Twitter post as part of the product's initial experiment, and by July 14th, Binance publicized its plans for an August card launch date in certain European regions, touting compatibility with 4 digital assets, including Bitcoin and Binance's BNB asset. Guys, Binance, huge company in the space. Changpeng Zhao is a guy that doesn't want to let the opportunities get away from him. He, in my opinion, is trying to get all over everything. He wants to grow Binance. He wants to be a major player in the space. This is why I would also keep an eye on Binance Coin BNB vis-a-vis all the other cryptocurrencies and see how, it is also rallying and, moving with the space, and a lot of liquidity there. Healthy price, right now trading at 1965. What else do we got? XRP Crypto Wolf pointed this out. Now this with regards to Joel Katz, and this might be a little disheartening for some of you guys. Ripple executive says quantum computing will threaten Bitcoin, XRP, and crypto markets. And here's when. So David Schwartz actually gives us a timeline here. Ripple CTO David Schwartz says quantum computing poses a serious threat to the future of cryptocurrency as a whole. On the Modern CTO podcast, Schwartz says quantum computing will break the cryptographic algorithms and keep cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and XRP, as well as the internet at large, secure. He goes on to say, from the point of view of someone who is building systems based on conventional cryptography, quantum computing is a risk. We are not solving problems that need powerful computing like payments and liquidity. The work that the computers do is not that incredibly complicated, but because it relies on conventional cryptography, very fast computers present a risk to the security model that we use inside the ledger. Algorithms like SHA-2 and ECDSA, elliptic curve cryptography, which is beyond me, are sort of esoteric things deep in the plumbing, but if they were to fail, the whole system would collapse. The system's ability to say who owns Bitcoin or who owns XRP or whether or not a particular transaction is authorized would be compromised. A lot of people in the blockchain space watch quantum computing very carefully, and what we're trying to do is have an assessment of how long before these algorithms are no longer reliable. So he is saying that people within the space, people that do what he does, are keeping an eye on this specifically because they might need to alter how they program, what they program, blockchain, DLT technology accordingly, so as that the quantum computing systems cannot overpower or circumvent the blockchain. So Schwartz says he thinks developers might have, and get this, only 8 years until the technology, which leverages the properties of quantum physics to perform fast calculations, becomes sophisticated enough to crack cryptography. I think we have at least 8 years. I have very high confidence that it's at least a decade before quantum computing presents a threat, but you never know when there could be a breakthrough. I'm a cautious and concerned observer, I would say. Schwartz says crypto coders should closely follow the latest blockchain development in quantum computing, but he's also concerned about private efforts from the government. Here's the other thing that he finds slightly scary, guys. The other fear would be if some bad actor from some foreign government secretly had quantum computing way ahead of what's known to the public. Depending on your threat model, you could also say, what if the NSA has quantum computing? Are you worried about the NSA breaking your payment system? While some people might realistically be concerned, it depends on your threat model. If you're just an average person or an average company, you're probably not going to be a victim of this. Let's say hypothetically some bad actor had quantum computing that was powerful enough to break things. They're probably not going after you unless you are a target of some type. As soon as it's clear that there's a problem, these systems will probably be frozen until they can be fixed or improved. So most people don't have to worry about it. But for us cryptocurrency hodlers, David Schwartz is saying, they might need to retool blockchain, DLT, cryptography as a whole in about 8 years, a decade or so, because of how powerful quantum computing is getting. So I just thought I'd bring that to your attention. No need to worry though, guys. I have a feeling we are going to be rich way sooner than that. And it's also not to say that your coins will not have value if this does occur. Of course, there are teams of people all the time in this technological race to get to the top. Quantum computing is just another factor in the mix. I leave these problems to the great minds of the world. I just focus on my investment and what I can do to improve that. More news here, guys. Originally, I saw this from Dior Don Data here. With regards to Polysign, now I was told that this was apparently tweeted out by James Rule at RuleXRP here on Twitter. So we're going to get to his tweet in a second. But here, a huge fine, Polysign apparently was approved for the Paycheck Protection Program. Undisclosed investors here in this tweet from CB Insights. And what is the Paycheck Protection Program? Well, it is the loan program that originated from the Beer Flu Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, the CARES Act. This was originally a $350 billion program intended to provide American small businesses with 8 weeks of cash flow assistance through 100% federally guaranteed loans. The loans are backed by Small Business Administration. You can read the bill in its entirety here. This is a screen grab, of course, so there is no link to that. But Polysign approved for a loan, and these guys are digging into this a little deeper. James Rule here also points out, if Polysign becomes the custodian to U.S. banks, the 2017-2018 bull run will be child's play compared to what we are going to experience with mass adoption. And guys, I couldn't agree more. Building the future of digital assets, this is Polysign. And James Rule also asking, hey, Joel Katz, am I close here? A lot of people wondering about this, guys. I will link this tweet thread in the description if you want to follow along. Polysign, as you guys know, a fintech company building institutional grade infrastructure covering the whole digital assets ecosystem. Tiffany Hayden also pointing to this with this website. She's not positive it's the same Polysign, though. Tracking PPP loans. Search every company approved for federal loans over $150K. We'll get to that in a sec. But originally, XR Plumber asks, hey, Joel Katz, could you clarify whether Polysign did or didn't receive PPP funds for beer flu relief without breaking any NDAs? If you can't, I won't press it. You know what is doable and what is not. Keep up the awesome job. So we're wondering, is it the same Polysign? And here is the ProPublica beer flu bailout page here from projects.propublica.org. And we can see here Polysign Inc. loan amount between $350,000 to $1 million. Is it the same Polysign? Well, when you just look up Polysign Inc. on Google, it's the only Polysign that comes up. Polysign is an early-stage fintech company established by Arthur Brito and David Schwartz. Our mission is to drive global use in digital assets by building mission-critical infrastructure that enables institutions to secure and transact in digital assets across the capital markets and payment sectors. That is Polysign Inc. The website is polysign.io. It is the first thing that comes up here in Google, so I have a feeling that it is the Polysign that we are all thinking about. Very interesting, to say the least. And guys, short video today. Going to end this off with Johnny at Sugarcoat here on Twitter. Think about this for a second. The people that get in on XRP at $50 will want it to go to $100, okay? Just put that into perspective for a second. Those who get in at $100 will want it to go to $200. You see how this can add up and take off? It doesn't have to make sense to make money, just utility, adoption, momentum, and public sentiment to align. Let's not forget, guys, we are the early adopters. We are the lucky ones who got in XRP under $1, let's just call it. For the people who catch on later, for the people who get into XRP at $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, they are going to want to see that price rise a heck of a lot more than it already has. So patience is a virtue. And we should consider ourselves the lucky ones in this long play. So much positive crypto news happening all at once. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.